Good morning. I wanted to share with you today what channeling is. I've recently started with sharing my channelings online, or at least the ones in which I'm visible. And I thought it would be good to explain what channeling is exactly, who I'm channeling, if you could channel as well, what you need to do to learn how to channel, and most of all, what is it exactly. And I thought it would be nice to do it in a Facebook Live. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below and I can answer them now or later if you watch later, because I happily answer all the questions. I'll first start with explaining how I started to channel, and then I'll explain a little bit more about the channeling itself. I've always felt a connection with my angels, as I call them, and I always did feel that they had some messages for me or that they were guiding me, but I never really received clear messages that I could share with others. And then when I moved to Ibiza a few years ago, I came in touch with Solara and Ra, and I just met her on the island. I started meditating with her, and she did channeled meditations in which her voice changed and she would bring something through, which was new for me, but I never really thought about what it was or how she came up with these kind of things, until she offered an opening to channel course, which I decided to participate in. And the thing with channeling is everyone can learn how to channel. It's not something that you have to have a gift for. It's not something that you can do and others can't. It's something that you can learn, like you can learn mostly everything. You just have to learn how to open up, trust what comes in, and let it out. I think for me it's about 2.5 years, maybe almost 3 years. I think it's 2.5 years ago that I joined opened the channel course with Solara. And at the first course I wasn't able to channel. I was so afraid what was gonna come out because I could feel a lot of things happening in my throat. Sorry for that. I just got a message in my screen which good morning, Leon, which cut the video, but hopefully it doesn't come back now. So yeah, I didn't dare to channel at the first course because I was afraid how I would sound, what would come out. But I practiced a lot, and now I'm still a little bit afraid sometimes of what comes out, but I've learned to trust. The more I open myself, the less I think about what's happening, the easier it flows, and the better it comes out. So what channeling is opening yourself to receive the energies that are around us always, and to let them express themselves through you. And these energies, some people call them light beings or star beings, or they have different names. You've got Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, lots of different names for different star beings or light beings. For me, I don't really mind so much who I'm channeling. I mostly I recognize the different energies. I recognize the tone of voice, because if you have seen me channel, my voice changes when I channel. So I recognize the way the energy comes to me, the way it comes through me, the words they use, the tone of voice. The humor is different between the different energies that I channel. So this is the way I know who I'm channeling, and I for myself, don't really need to have a name for who I'm channeling. Some people really like to know specifically who they channel, and they are more aware of the beings that they channel or the names that they have. I don't channel any deceased people. It's the way we learned to channel from Solara is always to ask for the highest possible guidance. And they say that people who have just left the earth are kind of in between the earth and the higher energies. So they would never come through as one of the highest possibilities to channel, because they are in a bit lower energy than energies that come through if you ask for the highest possible guidance. So when I did the channel course for myself, I was really curious what was the difference between the connection I always felt with my angels and channeling itself. Like what was the difference in me receiving those I would maybe say impulses from my angels and channeling a message. And while I was at the course, I was thinking about this question, and immediately it got answered through Solara while she was channeling, which for me was really surprising. But this is what happens a lot, because your thoughts are energy. So when someone is channeling, the energies they're channeling can already pick up on questions that come through. So immediately my answer came through, my question got answered. And the difference between receiving a message and channeling is that you only, and the first thing, you only receive something, but if you are a channel, something has to come in and something has to come out, because you're a channel that has an entrance and an output. So it has to go all the way through. And you can channel in many different ways, and lots of people channel already without them calling it channeling or being aware that they are channeling. Artists channel their art, musicians channel their music, singers, they channel their songs. If someone really is good in something and they get in a certain flow, that flow state is channeling, because you're out of your mind, out of your thinking state, and you are just channeling the energies into existence. So a lot of people channel already without them calling it channeling, but if you're not channeling already, you can learn it. Everyone can learn how to channel. Everyone can channel if you know how to open yourself, how to kind of put your mind aside and let the channel flow. If you start thinking too much, your channeling will stop. In the beginning I had I found it really difficult to receive messages without listening to them myself while I was talking and without thinking about what came through. But then I would feel that the channel would stop, because then my thinking mind kind of clicked back into place, and the channel would stop. Sorry, I see something popping up on my screen again. Super fresh outlook on this energy work. Muy interesting. Thank you, Lulu. And I saw something from Doreen as well. Yes, less thinking. The less you think, the easier it is to channel. And what do I want to say about it? Yeah, so when you start channeling, it's pretty difficult to switch off your mind and to not try to understand the message that's coming through at the moment it comes through. But I learned in the beginning, as I said, I wasn't able to channel at the first channeling course. I did it a few times over, and I've practiced a lot. I was channeling every day on myself, speaking, channeling, recording it, listening to it, writing it, and through practicing daily, listening to my own recordings, I started to learn to recognize the wording, started to learn to recognize the way the sentences were made, And it made it easier and easier for me to just get into the channeling state and let my mind step aside. As well as that, I've noticed that in my healings, when I channel a message and my mind kicks in, I lose track of the channeling and I can't deliver the message as clear as when I just deliver the message. Sometimes I receive a message that I think is inappropriate, isn't maybe not the right word, but it's kind of harsh. I one time had to tell a girl that it was time to split up with her boyfriend. And I just thought, I can't tell her that this is what comes through. So I tried not to express it, but then I got really, really pushed by my guides. So in the end, I let it out and I followed the channeling without thinking too much about it. And when I opened my eyes after the channeling, she just was like, this was really what I needed to hear in this moment. For her, it was the last sign she needed to actually leave her boyfriend. So I've learned to trust whatever comes through, to let it come through, even when I think it's inappropriate or when I think it's not right, because they know much more than I do. They have a much bigger view on things and a much bigger understanding than I can have from my limited perspective here. So trusting and surrendering and just allowing it to come through is a big part of the channeling. And there's different ways of channeling. As I said, you can channel in different ways, like expressing it in art or music and stuff. Receiving like these kind of messages and expressing them, you can do it writing or speaking. There's still different ways in how people receive their messages. As I said before, my voice changes when I channel. I receive a message. I kind of hear the first maybe 2, 3, 4 words of a sentence, and I have to start talking because otherwise the rest of the sentence is not going to come. So sometimes when the first words of a sentence are something that are triggering me or like making me doubt where it's going, I try to listen to the rest of the message, but that's not working. I just have to start channeling and then the rest of the message will flow. And my voice changes, sounds come through, sounds that I'm not even able to make on my own. Like if I would try now to make certain sounds that come out in the channeling and the length of them, I don't have a clue how to do it or how to get to a specific tone for such a length. But while I channel it, they just kind of use my voice and lungs and it just happens. So I mostly get long sentences with some imagery. Some people just get only images and they have to kind of describe the images they see and the message that's in them. Other people get certain thought packages. They just receive a whole package of a whole idea of something and they have to kind of translate it or express it in their way. Yeah, and other people receive like spoken channeling as well, like I do, but then without the voice changing. I've been thinking a lot about my voice that's changing while I channel. And that was the reason why I didn't want to speak up in the beginning, because I was afraid what kind of sounds would come out. And from the channel groups that I was in, I was the only one who had that. Some people have a slight change, but not as big as with me. But Solara, my teacher, has her voice changed. And I was a little bit afraid that I was kind of copying her in some way. And that I thought, oh, this is the way I'm supposed to channel, so that's the way it happens. But in the end, like if I would have had a choice in the beginning, I would not have chosen to have my voice changed, because that was the whole thing that kept me, or that held me back to express it. So in the end, having that change of voice for me is also a sign that I'm really channeling. Although now it also happens that I channel without that voice change, but that's because I can more easily receive the messages and express them with my own voice. So I think I've expressed everything that I wanted to share. If you have a question, let me know. And if you like to learn how to channel yourself, I am offering channeled writing workshops. And it's a few hours in which you learn how to channel writing. And I've done it a few times in Holland already. I've done a full course as well. But I've noticed people like to just start with the writing channeling. And then if you want to learn more, we can do some follow-ups to learn to speak, how to channel. And I want to offer a writing channeling course online next week, Friday, 1st of May. If you want to join, just send me a message and we are going to see with how many people we are, in which time zones and which time works best. If you watch this video after the 1st of May 2020, then just send me a message that you are interested in such a course and we'll just find a date and some other people to join as well. So if you don't have any further questions now, I am going to say goodbye to you. Thanks for listening and wishing you a beautiful day. Ciao, ciao.